Elvis Presley was no ordinary singer in the 1950s. While many artists of the time were stuck in a musical rut, Elvis had a spark that set him apart. It wasn't just his rock and roll sound that captured hearts, it was how he poured his soul into every performance. This energy was rare, even compared to rock legends like Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard. But what truly set Elvis apart was his unique blend of raw energy with a pop sensibility. This allowed him to not only rock out but also show off his incredible vocal skills and ability to interpret songs in diverse styles. At first, it was Elvis's rock and roll hits that made him famous. But it was his stardom that opened doors for him to show off more than just his voice. With his foot in the door, he could now display his incredible talent for different musical styles. Many thought that rock and roll would ruin Elvis, that it was too raw and unrefined for the mainstream. But critically acclaimed music journalist Dave Marsh argued differently. He believed that signing with RCA Records didn't trap Elvis. Instead, it opened up new creative paths for him. Elvis wasn't just any musician. He could play guitar, piano, and even the electric bass, all without formal training. This impressed everyone around him, from studio musicians to songwriters. They saw how in control he was, how he knew exactly what he wanted. This was before he worked with Mike Stoller and Jerry Leiber, two songwriters who initially didn't think much of him. They saw him as a brash outsider trying to cash in on R&B's popularity. But after working with Elvis on films like Jailhouse Rock and King Creole, they changed their minds. They recognized him as a true music lover. Elvis's understanding of R&B and gospel music was vast. He'd often warm up for recordings by singing spirituals with his band. His sessions were relaxed and free-flowing, with no strict schedules. This was a shock to RCA officials who were used to a more structured approach. Elvis wouldn't have it any other way. He believed sessions should be his domain. While Elvis may not have written all his songs, his influence on them was clear. His unique style stamped each record. This was thanks not just to his talent, but also to Colonel Parker, his manager. Parker gave Elvis the freedom to choose his songs and record them as he saw fit. He trusted Elvis's instincts, even when others didn't. This trust was key to Elvis's growth as an artist. Colonel Parker's hands-off approach allowed Elvis to focus on his craft. He saw the value in Elvis's dynamic performance style, even if it caused some controversy. Parker understood that Elvis's rough edges were part of his charm. He let Elvis lead, knowing that interference would only hinder the young star's natural progression. Elvis's success wasn't just about his music, it was also about how he used television. He was a bundle of contradictions, seductive yet humble, energetic yet modest. This duality made him appealing to a wide audience. Some saw him as a bad boy breaking rules, while others admired the good boy who could sing beautifully and behave with grace. But with fame came unexpected challenges. A trip to Biloxi, Mississippi in 1956 showed what lay ahead. Elvis and his friends were swarmed by fans, a taste of the chaos that would follow him everywhere. This was just the beginning of the wild ride that Elvis Presley's fame would become. His life was about to change in ways he couldn't imagine, transforming him from a local hero to a national sensation, and beyond. Elvis Presley loved being famous. He enjoyed talking to people and signing their autographs. For him, his fans were super important. They had helped make him who he was. After some trouble, Elvis realized how much he depended on his fans loving him. This made him even more grateful. When Elvis and his family moved to a new house on Audubon Drive, he loved meeting the fans who came to visit. It was like a special spot where everyone loved him. Elvis wished he could spend time with every single one of them. He didn't understand why other stars didn't like their fans. To Elvis, pleasing his fans was the most important thing. If he made music they liked, that was his main goal. Elvis really enjoyed the attention from young women. Even though he usually had a girlfriend when he was traveling, he would often meet new women. He had a friend, George Klein, who would find pretty women at his concerts. Elvis would spend time with them, chat, and even have fun with them in his room. He liked talking as much as he liked being physical. Elvis had a lot of friends among the local girls in Memphis. They were often beautiful or trying to become famous. While he was on tour, Elvis would meet many women. He was careful not to get anyone pregnant by accident. Elvis enjoyed the company of these women. He liked to talk and share stories while they were together. The girls who became his regular dates were usually beautiful or aspiring stars. They felt special being around Elvis. He would sometimes act like he was serious about them, inviting them to meet his family. He called them sweet names and talked about settling down someday when his music career was more stable. However, Elvis kept womanizing, especially when he was away from home. One woman Elvis really cared about was June Juanico. They met during a tour in 1955 and reconnected a year later in Memphis. They spent a week together exploring the city, visiting places that meant something to Elvis. They became very close, and people even thought they were engaged. Elvis and June talked about getting married, but Elvis told her they should wait 3 years. He wanted to be sure of his career before making such a big decision. Elvis and June kept their relationship a secret at first. They told reporters they were just friends. But Elvis's manager, Colonel Parker, was very upset. He didn't want Elvis to get too serious because it could hurt his image as a heartthrob. Parker wanted Elvis to stay available to all his fans, especially the young girls who loved him. Parker believed that if Elvis got married, his appeal would change. Elvis listened to Parker and stopped talking about June. But when he went back to touring, June found out he was seeing someone else, a showgirl he met in Las Vegas. June was very upset. Parker didn't care who Elvis dated as long as it didn't hurt his image. He wanted Elvis to look like he was available but not too wild. Being famous had other benefits too. Business owners would help Elvis by staying open late so he could shop for clothes and gifts. In Memphis, people treated him like a hero. At a charity concert in 1956, Elvis performed for thousands of excited African Americans. They cheered when he did his famous dance move. Even his parents were welcomed warmly by their rich neighbors, showing how much people admired Elvis. By late 1956, Elvis Presley was facing new challenges that came with his growing fame. At first, it seemed like the more people who loved his music, the better. But soon, this love turned into something overwhelming. Fans adored him so much that they would follow him everywhere, making it hard for Elvis to do even simple things without a fuss. Elvis found himself needing police escorts just to leave a concert. He would get mobbed by fans whenever he went out, whether it was to a movie, a restaurant, or just a regular day out. This wasn't just annoying, it sometimes led to real trouble. For instance, one day at a gas station, a crowd gathered so big that Elvis couldn't drive away. The station manager got mad and even hit Elvis on the head. Elvis, not one to back down, got out of the car and fought back. The situation turned so rough that the police had to step in and stop the fight. Elvis and the men involved were all charged with serious crimes. Elvis wasn't just bothered by fans. He was also worried about young men who were jealous and wanted to fight him. He even had to bring a friend, Red West, who used to play football, to watch his back. But even with Red around, Elvis still got into scrapes when he went out in public in Memphis. Seeing how much attention was changing his life, Elvis and his family realized they needed more space. Their home on Audubon Drive was no longer quiet. Neighbors complained, and the constant visitors turned the neighborhood into a bustling, noisy place. So in early 1957, they decided to look for a bigger house. With help from a real estate agent, they found Graceland, a big estate in another part of Memphis. It was perfect, a big house with lots of land. Elvis was thrilled when he saw it and quickly agreed to buy it. The new home was fancy, with a mix of old and new styles. It had modern amenities that showed off their newfound wealth, like a big white couch and a kitchen full of shiny appliances. Once settled at Graceland, Elvis and his family tried to go back to a normal life. They had more privacy now, thanks to the walls and gates around the property. Gladys enjoyed tending her garden and raising chickens, while Vernon managed the family's money. Elvis loved to entertain friends at home, but the house remained a family-friendly place. Elvis's friends were mostly local guys he knew before his fame grew. They would hang out, watch TV, or sing together. Even though there were new friends who wanted to be part of his inner circle, the family kept things mostly low-key. Gladys made sure Elvis stayed connected to his roots and didn't lose sight of what was important. In the end, Graceland became more than just a house. It was a symbol of Elvis's success and his desire for a normal life amidst all the chaos of fame. The Presleys found a balance where they could enjoy their new life while keeping a piece of the simplicity they once knew.